The late afternoon sun cast a warm glow over Maplewood Park, where golden leaves fell lazily from the trees. It was a serene, picturesque day, with children laughing, joggers pacing the trails, and families enjoying the crisp autumn air. Among the park-goers sat Nathan, a homeless veteran, on a splintered wooden bench. His once proud posture had given way to the weight of years of hardship, but his sharp blue eyes still held a quiet intensity. Nathan had served in the military for over a decade, dedicating his youth to protecting his country. But when he returned home, life had not been kind. Struggles with PTSD and the inability to find steady work left him adrift. He had no family to turn to, and soon he found himself on the streets. The park became his refuge, a place where he could momentarily forget his troubles and find peace in the sounds of life continuing around him. Across the park, Claire Bennett spread a checkered blanket on the grass. She was a single mother in her early 30s, with soft features and a determined spirit. Raising her 6-year-old son Ethan on her own wasn't easy, but Claire did everything she could to provide him with a happy childhood. Today was one of their special afternoons together, a break from her hectic job as a nurse at the local hospital. Ethan was a bundle of energy, his sandy blonde hair bouncing as he chased his bright red ball around the park. He loved the outdoors and often entertained himself with simple games while his mother watched with a mix of pride and worry. As Ethan kicked his ball higher and higher, Nathan watched from a distance. He smiled faintly at the boy's carefree laughter. It reminded him of his younger brother, who had been his best friend before a tragic accident took him away. Ethan's laughter stirred something in Nathan, a bittersweet longing for a time when life felt simpler. Suddenly, Ethan's ball ricocheted off a tree and rolled toward the road at the edge of the park. Without hesitation, Ethan sprinted after it. Claire looked up from her book, her heart sinking as she saw her son running toward traffic. "Ethan, stop!" she screamed, her voice filled with panic. Nathan's instincts kicked in. He had spent years in the military responding to emergencies without a second thought, and this moment was no different. He bolted from his bench, his worn boots pounding the ground. The speeding car honked as it neared the boy, but Ethan was too focused on retrieving his ball to notice. Just as the car screeched to a halt, Nathan dove forward, grabbing Ethan and pulling him to safety. They tumbled onto the grass, Nathan's arms wrapped protectively around the boy. Claire was at their side in seconds, tears streaming down her face as she hugged Ethan tightly. "Oh my God, thank you! You saved him!" she sobbed, her voice breaking with gratitude. Nathan sat up slowly, brushing off dirt from his tattered coat. "I just did what anyone would do," he said humbly, though his heart was pounding. Claire noticed his rough appearance, the frayed sleeves, the unkempt beard, and the haunted look in his eyes. "Please, let me do something for you," she insisted. "You saved my son's life. I owe you more than I can say." Nathan tried to decline, but Claire was persistent. She led him to her car and drove him home, where she insisted he join them for dinner. That night, as Nathan sat at their modest kitchen table, Ethan chattered excitedly about his favorite toys and how Nathan was now his hero. Claire served them a warm meal of spaghetti and garlic bread, and for the first time in years, Nathan felt a sense of belonging. Over the following days, Claire learned more about Nathan's story. She listened intently as he spoke about his time in the military, his struggles with PTSD, and the cruel twists of fate that led him to the streets. She was struck by his resilience and the kindness that still shone through despite everything he had endured. Nathan, in turn, learned about Claire's challenges as a single mother. After losing her husband in a car accident, she had worked tirelessly to provide for Ethan, juggling long hours at the hospital with raising her son. As Nathan stayed with them, he discovered an old toolbox in Claire's garage. He began fixing things around the house, repairing a squeaky door, mending a broken chair, and eventually building a wooden toy chest for Ethan. It turned out Nathan was a skilled carpenter, a talent he had honed during his military service. One evening, Claire's neighbor, Mr. Caldwell, stopped by and admired Nathan's craftsmanship. Mr. Caldwell owned a small furniture business and was so impressed that he offered Nathan a job. Months turned into years, and Nathan's life transformed. He found steady work with Mr. Caldwell, who eventually helped him start his own woodworking business. Ethan adored Nathan, seeing him as a father figure, and Claire cherished the bond that had grown between them. Nathan's story became an inspiration in their small town, a reminder of the power of kindness and second chances. And every time he passed by Maplewood Park, he couldn't help but smile. The day he saved a little boy had not only changed Ethan's life, but had also given Nathan a new purpose and a family to call his own.